stall.
Yes.
Yeah. Put your handbrake on, and remember, keep your feet still, because again, he's going to relax because he's got to the point. Into neutral. Now you can rest your feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And it's just bugger all you can do, is there?
Yeah. It's.
You can't. Once you've done that keep your feet still, keep your feet. He can't. Well, I suppose he can, but then you can.
Well, no, he can't, because you've taken his toys away, haven't you?
Yeah, but I mean, if he tried to, you then you can say, well, you're not doing what I'm asking you to do.
Yeah, it's like when you asked me to select first gear once the engine's running.
Yeah.
Anything you told me on the brief, once I start the engine.
Yeah.
Is a distant memory, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what we do on the move that's the most important bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once I start that engine, and you tell me to select first gear, and you said to me because I got third gear, yeah, Tony, can you remember what I said to you was important to get first gear? And I said no, I can't remember.
Yeah. And I reinforced it again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's reinforcing it once the engine's moving and we are just about to move.
Yeah.
That's when the real reinforcement needs to come in. So the consequence of trying to move away in third gear. Observations wise, you were spot on. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, you made me look.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that to me is one of the great big red areas.
Yeah, it's got to be. I would think on. Well, I wouldn't think there can't be a PST that isn't observation. One of the
yeah.
They must be on. Well, I suppose apart from, but even with the controls lesson, observation to a degree because of you're talking about mirrors.
Yeah.
So it's a form of observation.
If you look at the controls lesson, has one great big long brief, which is what it is. Yeah. And I always look upon the controls lesson as you controlling what the SE can do. Yeah. In a similar way to what you controlled me when I got in the car tonight. You just done a little bit of reinforcing on how I put the seatbelt on, how I checked the doors closed, and the way you controlled me when we came to a stop. That's the kind of control they're looking for on the controls lesson.
Yeah,
is that you don't let them.
Because I suppose they're looking. I mean, in the real world, that you wouldn't have to worry about most pupils because they've been in cars that they're not likely to want to jump out. But having said that, I've had one or two pupils that have been stupid enough to sort of getting, and they're so excited perhaps or whatever.
With the right information, the SE is going to be your best pupil.
Yes.
With the wrong information,
he's going to be your worst nightmare.
Yeah, he's going to be your worst nightmare.
And is that acceptable to sort of say to him, what colour's the end of my pen?
Yeah. Anything that's understandable in the English language, he will respond to.
Because, I mean, if you can have it either one way or the other up, he's not going to know once he's looking out there. If you're bringing this here and saying, what's the colour of my pen? Yeah. Or what colour's showing at the top of my pen?
Oh, you'll even actually see on one of the Blame videos where he's holding two fingers up.
Yeah.
And he says, how many fingers am I holding up? Yeah.
As long as you've got him opening his eyes and he's looking, once you've got him like I did, got your ears facing me, you know he's got to be, his head's in the right direction. Yeah. All you then got to do is make sure his eyes are open. Yeah,
so you're confirming what you can see.
Yeah.
And then I would just back it up with a consequence.
If you don't.
That tree with the red leaves.
Yeah.
Could be a
motorbike coming up at speed.
Yeah, or it could be a young lad sitting on his moped there, and because I'm going to be moving off,
he thinks, I'll get away in front of that learner, and I'm gone.
Yeah, it's the consequences tied in with the rest of the information you gave me that are going to get you the really high scores. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you needn't worry. I won't back off on them.
No.
If you give me info that's not complete, then obviously you won't get the right response. But you may well get a lifeline.
Yes.
And you got to remember when the SE makes a comment.
Yeah. Listen to it.
Yeah, he's not making it for no reason.
No.
Yeah.
There's something in there.
They ain't going to give lifelines away.
I'm guessing that depending on how you're doing so far, I mean I might have got this wrong, but from what I can sort of glean from watching Blaine's videos and listening to you.
Yeah.
If you're sunk, you're highly unlikely to get a lifeline. He'll just let you flounder. But if you're doing okay, but you could be a bit better, you'll get the lifeline. Wrong?
Yes. Yeah. Basically, what he's trying to do is he's pretty much sussed out that you've got an idea
Of what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah, and he just wants to find out that little bit of extra information.
Yeah.
A lifeline can even actually be given before the PST is shut down at the end.
Yeah.
And he's not going to invite you to it, but by you saying, Anine, have you got any questions?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a bit the same with that examiners.
Yeah.
Something's at the end of a test. It might be sort of borderline.
Yeah.
And he'll say to people, well, in so-and-so, what would you normally do? And if they can answer the right question, they don't get that extra minor mark.
Yeah, the difference is with the...
But with a part 3, it's not that... But it's
with the part 3, it's the decision is not going to be made there and then.
No. They take an overall view.
Well, he's going to go. He's going to go upstairs, and he's going to consider, because obviously he's got 2 parts to consider, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And I've never known Ian to make any notes at the end of the phase 1.
No.
Before you go on to phase 2. So he will go upstairs and he will actually have a think about it.
Yeah.
And when he goes upstairs, he's going to ask himself, well, would I want
this person teaching my son, my daughter, or whatever?
Yeah, that's what. That's what he said to
Basically.
me the last time I was over there. He said to me, would I be happy for this lady to teach my 17-year-old daughter to drive on Monday? And the answer is yes, I would. Yeah. So lifelines will be given, and they normally are quite obvious, but you need to take them on board.
Yeah.
And it's what we call recovery. Even if you lose it, recover it.
Yeah.
Because you've got to remember, you've only got to get it.
I suppose now I'm going to need a bit of advice that I gave my pupils when they were taking the test. If you make a mistake, forget it. Because that mistake will be one of 2 things. It's either big enough to have failed you, well, it's too late. Or it's not big enough to have failed you, then it's not worth worrying about. But you aren't going to know, because you aren't the examiner. The only way you'll find out is at the end of the test, when the examiner gives you his decision. So keep doing to the best of your ability to the end.
Yeah.
And that's the way you've got to do it, really, isn't it? You can recover to a degree with this, because you can cover, if you, like I did with the moving off, before we actually moved off, wasn't the best of plans, but I stopped us moving off before I mentioned about how we were going to stop.
Yeah, you recovered, didn't you?
Yeah, not ideal.
Yeah, you didn't get all flustered.
No.
And as you work on the briefs, you're getting down to a.
So I've sussed that I need to perhaps sit down and do is to write my thoughts down.
Yeah.
So what am I going to say here? What am I going to say here? What am I going to say? So that and sort of practice it. Just to.
I mean, that's why Blaine leaves this blank for you. Is that rather than have a whole load of writing on there that you're going to be reading out like a script, he's got just symbols on there that actually give you a memory jolt. Yeah.
Yes.
And if there's any bits there that you feel that I keep forgetting to say this or whatever, then just write it in yourself. Yeah, because that's going to come out and hit you on the end of the nose, because you've written it in yourself, haven't you? Yeah. If you've got, like in some of the books, I'll show you one that's probably one of the most popular ones, but it's nowhere near as good as the Blaine one.
I've got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive book.
Yeah.
By the time you bloody read all this, it's going to be a long brief, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's why I went for this.
Yeah.
Because I've got that, but then when I saw Blaine's, I looked at the sample, and I thought, fuck me, that's a much better. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Yeah.
You'll have to bleep that bit.
Yeah, bleep that bit.
How much better is this?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously put
a lot of thought into it.
this is done by
Obviously, a graphic artist that's done the graphics.
well, it's actually one of it's an ADI on a site called Sam T.
Oh, right.
And he's put a lot of work into this.
Yeah.
And they've actually brought out another one now for ADIs.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
If you click on the Blaine, Blaine's got a shop on the
Yeah.
on the right hand
perhaps
side
I'll
now.
get that one if and when I pass.
And it really is a fabulous book. I've had a look through it because even looking at that colour file, I use that on a daily basis with normal students, and even I struggle to find the proper picture to explain it.
But this is so good.
Yeah,
isn't
it is so good. Yeah.
You know, I mean, even the, you know, really, again, I'm stupid. When we got in the car, I should have just done that.
Yeah, they just
Just to remind me.
they spent a lot of time.
Yeah, I think
And
I think it's such a clever.
yeah, they didn't just stick it together and
No.
and put it out. They actually
And
showed
I mean,
us.
over the years, I've seen some crap that's passed itself off as what an ADI is meant to be.
No, we were all shown samples before it actually went to print,
Yeah.
and we made a couple of suggestions, and I think they were taken on board, and as things change, the idea with this is that Blaine and Sam can change this at any point, and you've got the link to it to download the new page.
Yeah.
Because I mean, years ago they used to make us teach. If you remember, mirror, signal, position, speed, look for moving away.
Yeah.
So you know, if you had a book from 89 years ago, it would have been mirror, signal, position, speed, look to move away. So you know, the DSA can change their mind again tomorrow.
Oh Christ,
And
didn't
actually,
they?
yeah. And,
Tell me about it.
and if they decide that they want mirror, signal, position, speed, look to move away again, then all that Blaine and Sam have to do is to actually change this page.
Yeah. Well, in fact, it's all they change is that bit.
Yeah.
Because the graphics are. I mean, they might have to reposition the graphics, but for the sequence, perhaps. But,
Yeah.
But the actual. I mean, that's what I like about it, because it's the graphics.
Yeah, it just helps you so much.
They're so simple.
Yeah, they are
But the
simple.
pupil can look at that and see, as you're talking them through it, and perhaps I should have involved you a bit more in the book and got you to look at what I was talking about, perhaps. But that's going to come with practice.
You know, as a first brief for somebody who hasn't, you know, it's probably even harder for you, the fact that you've been in this job before, and I know exactly where you're coming from because we both qualified within a matter of about 3 years of each other. You know, so I know how much it's changed.
Yeah.
And for you to actually take my advice when we spoke a week ago and actually go onto the Blaine side, you've really done yourself a great big favour there.
I tell you what, that's one of the things, Tony, I've got to thank you the most for.
Well, it's
such a. I mean, it is a unique resource, isn't it?
Well, it's where I learned to become a trainer from, and it got me through my audit exam. And with every student I teach, I can't force them to subscribe to the Blaine side.
No,
but if they are, you know, for the sake of, you know, $5 a week, which is, you know, not even a packet.
Well,
of
it's not
fags
even
nowadays.
that. If you do the 6 months like I did, it's down to £15 a month.
Yeah, it's a site that even after you qualify.
Well, yeah, that's why I'll get involved in the forum in a little while, is because I think then you're chatting to like-minded people.
Yeah, and then you've got your check tests to think about.
Yeah.
And then there's other things that are going to be on there. The site's going to improve immensely over the next couple of months. There's other things going to be on there.
I can see that. Yeah, I mean, and you can to a degree use part of that as your CPD.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you've actually a member of the Blaine site, you can actually print off a CPD a certificate. Yeah, because it's only a matter of time before we're actually going to be forced into CPD, and we will have to produce proof of it.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're actually watching a Blaine training video does go towards your CPD. Yeah.
Professional development, because you're looking to improve. I mean, it's like I'm sure that when I was many moons ago now, I used to be the regional chairman for the Motor Schools Association in Greater London.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we used to hold garage meetings, get an SE there, and chat about something or the other.
Yeah, that still
that
happens.
would be allowed to be.
Yeah, it still
Provision?
is. Yeah, it still is if you join your local organisation and each meeting you attend,
Yeah.
because it shows that you're taking an interest in.
But that's one of the strange things, isn't it? You think of all the thousands of driving instructors that are out here, then they don't get together collectively.
No, they don't. And this is what we had a meeting back in July. Well, it was called a meeting. It turned out to be a
Piss up.
yeah, yeah. We had a great weekend away.
Yeah.
And there was PDIs, ADIs, trainers, loads of different people there. I think about 50 turned up in the end. And this originally just started off as a small post to have a meeting, and it turned out to be a really, really great weekend. We got to meet people because we're talking to people on the forum, but we never met them.
No.
And a lot of people never met Blaine before,
Yeah.
and got to meet him and his wife to be Lou, and
He's part of the. He's got the keys in his pocket on one of the training sessions. I can't forget which one it is. It's 5 or 6. He's talking about how you can make mistakes and the fact that he'd come out with his partner's keys in his pocket.
oh right, yeah.
But no.
Right, we pause this for a second.
Yep.
And say.